A man can endure anything if he holds a why in his heart. Fyodor Dostoevsky. There are people the world could never break, not through war, not through loss, not through betrayal, not through bankruptcy, not even through silence. They walk among us quietly, without masks, without noise. And when you look into their eyes, there's something terrifyingly honest there, something unshakable. These are not people who had easy lives. These are people who saw the bottom of human existence and didn't look away. People who burned to ashes and rebuilt themselves without asking the world for permission. The world tried to destroy them, but it couldn't, because they learned something that changed everything. They learned the truths that Dostoevsky once whispered to the world, truths so raw, so powerful, that entire generations have clung to them like lifelines. These are not pretty ideas. They are not motivational quotes. They are brutal, honest, necessary, and once you see them, you can't unsee. People across the world have taken these truths and faced their demons. They've walked out of depression, out of toxic marriages, out of addictions, out of mental collapse. And they did it not because life got easier, but because they got real. And realness is something pain cannot destroy. Maybe right now, you feel like you're hanging by a thread, like your life is spinning and nothing feels solid. You've read the books, tried the therapy, tried being positive, but something still hurts, something's missing. And no one seems to understand what that hole inside really is. But what if the truth isn't that you're broken, but that you've never been told the full story? You're about to hear 30 truths that have cracked people open and put them back together stronger. 30 truths that apply to every corner of your life, your mind, your relationships, your money, your happiness, your faith, your shadow, your silence. Some of these will sting. Some will feel like coming home. But if you're still here, you're ready. And if you really let them in, the world will never be able to break you again. If these words already hit somewhere deep, subscribe to this channel. Algorithms will show this to others who are on the edge and need it now. And join the Telegram. It's where we go deeper. This isn't a video. It's the start of war with everything false inside you. Stay till the end. These 30 truths didn't appear out of nowhere. They were born in silence, in prison cells, in deathbeds, in the faces of the poor, the damned, the forgotten. Dostoevsky didn't write from comfort. He wrote from pain so deep it carved his soul open. That's why his words cut through illusions. They don't sell dreams. They drag reality into the light and force you to face it. Not to suffer more, but to suffer consciously. That's the difference between those who get destroyed by life and those who get transformed. These truths are not philosophy. They are psychological X-rays. They show where you lie to yourself, where you avoid the truth, where you still depend on the world to give you worth, love, power, peace. And once you see it, you can't unsee. Because each of these truths reflects one piece of the prison we build in our own minds, the invisible cage of expectations, masks, guilt, fear, and illusion. And once one part of the cage breaks, the rest starts to shake. These truths touch every area of life, from love to loneliness, from money to meaning, from weakness to willpower. They're not advice, they're mirrors. And mirrors don't flatter you. They show you who you are without the stories. But what's powerful about these 30 is not just what they reveal, it's how they reconnect you to something you forgot, your own strength, not the fake, forced kind, the quiet, grounded, brutal clarity that doesn't need to scream. Each truth you're about to hear is short, some just a sentence. But behind each one, lives a world of pain, choice, change, and healing. You'll recognize yourself in many of them. Maybe not all, but the ones that hurt the most, those are the ones that matter most. Because your resistance to the truth is the proof that it's the one that can set you free. So now, the 30. For each one, you will hear what it means and how to use it. Not tomorrow, not after more healing. Now. That's the key. Truth isn't something you wait for. It's something you return to, right now. Truth 1. Pain is not the enemy. It's the message. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort, suppress sadness, numb emptiness. But pain is not here to ruin you. It's here to expose what's false, broken, denied. When you stop running and start listening, pain becomes the beginning of self-respect. Use this truth to pause instead of escape. When it hurts, ask, what is this trying to show me? Truth 2. The pursuit of pleasure without meaning leads to collapse. We've been trained to chase happiness through goals, achievements, attention, rewards. But joy without depth fades fast. Real fulfillment comes not from what you gain, but from what you're willing to lose in service of truth. Use this by asking not what makes you feel good, but what gives you peace when nothing feels good. Truth 3. Most people love from fear, not freedom. That's why their relationships destroy them. They attach to avoid being alone, not to truly connect. Real love begins when you no longer need the other to complete you. Use this truth by observing where your love turns into control, where giving becomes a trade, and where connection is just dependency in disguise. Truth 4. Guilt is often a sign you've started choosing yourself. We're programmed to feel bad the moment we stop sacrificing for others. But guilt isn't always a compass. Sometimes it's a chain. Use this truth to recognize where guilt is just inherited obedience, not integrity. Not all guilt is sacred. Some is manipulation passed down through bloodlines. Truth 5. The masks you wear to survive will eventually choke you. Faking strength, faking kindness, faking peace. These keep others comfortable, but they bury you alive. The longer you pretend, the more you forget who you are. Use this truth by asking, who would I be if I didn't have to perform? Truth 6. The fear of judgment is often a distraction from deeper fears, like being fully seen. Most people aren't afraid of rejection. They're afraid of exposure, of being known in their raw, chaotic truth. Use this by noticing where you shrink, not to stay safe, but to stay invisible. Truth 7. You will betray yourself many times before you finally stop. It's part of the process. You'll lie, you'll abandon your needs, you'll follow others. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you real. But at some point, you'll get tired of the ache that never leaves. Use this to forgive your past, not repeat it. Truth 8. Silence is not emptiness, it's access. In a world that shouts, the most powerful move is to shut up and listen to your own soul. Most people fill the void because they're terrified of what they'll hear. But the void is where truth lives. Use this truth by taking time each day to sit in discomfort without reaching for noise. Truth 9. Forgiveness is not about them, it's about your freedom. Holding on to rage can feel righteous, but it also locks you to the past. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconnection, it means release. Use this by asking, what weight am I still dragging that belongs to someone else? Truth 10. Strength is not loud, it's not control, it's the ability to stay present when everything in you wants to run. The strongest people aren't the ones who fight the hardest, they're the ones who feel the most and still choose to face life open. Use this by softening, not tightening, when things get hard. Truth 11. Loneliness is not a punishment, it's an invitation. Most people fear being alone because they've never been taught how to sit with themselves without judgment. But solitude reveals everything connection hides. When there's no one to impress, please, or depend on, your real self starts to surface. Use this truth by treating alone time not as exile, but as homecoming. Truth 12. Most of your suffering comes not from events, but from your resistance to them. You don't suffer because something happened. You suffer because you think it shouldn't have. That gap between what is and what should be is where pain festers. Use this by practicing radical honesty. Stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now?" Truth 13. Control is a trauma response, not a personality trait. People who obsess over plans, routines, outcomes, they're not disciplined. They're scared. Control feels safe, but it's also a prison. Life was never meant to obey your expectations. Use this truth by loosening your grip one situation at a time. Let life surprise you. Truth 14. You can't save others without losing yourself. Empathy turns into self-erasure when you don't have boundaries. Trying to rescue people who won't change doesn't make you good. It makes you drained, angry, resentful. Use this truth to reclaim your energy. Loving people doesn't mean sacrificing your sanity. Truth 15. Your mind lies, your body doesn't. You can rationalize toxic relationships, bad jobs, fake peace, but your body always knows. It tenses, aches, trembles, shuts down. Start listening to it. Use this truth by treating every physical symptom as a message, not an inconvenience. Truth speaks through tension. Truth 16. The people who triggered your wounds the most were usually just playing out their own. Your parents, partners, bosses, most of them weren't trying to destroy you. They were just repeating what no one helped them heal. Use this truth not to excuse, but to understand. When you stop making others villains, you stop being a victim. Truth 17. Avoidance is not protection, it's delay. Whatever you don't face will keep showing up. In your relationships, your patterns, your triggers. You can run for years, but one day it all catches up. Use this truth to choose discomfort now instead of destruction later. Truth 18. Grief isn't just for death. It's for versions of yourself you had to let go, for dreams that didn't survive, for friendships that faded. Let yourself mourn without shame. Use this truth to stop rushing back to normal. Honor the loss. That's where the healing starts. Truth 19. Being triggered is not weakness. It's a flare from your nervous system saying, "There's something unhealed here." The problem isn't the trigger, it's what you do with it. Use this by staying present when it hits. Ask what it reminds you of, what story it activates. That's the doorway. Truth 20. You don't need to find yourself, you need to remember. You were whole before they taught you to split, before survival made you lie, before roles, masks, edits. The real you is buried under shoulds, not gone. Use this truth by subtracting, not adding. Who are you without the act? Truth 21. The moment you stop fearing death, you start living. Most people aren't living, they're preserving. Preserving their image, their comfort, their routines. But the real fear isn't death itself. It's dying without ever having been real. Use this truth to ask yourself one thing every day. If I wasn't scared, what would I actually do right now? Truth 22. Most people don't want truth. They want relief. That's why illusions are so addictive. Quick fixes, numbing, excuses, but relief never lasts. Only truth does. Use this by noticing where you seek distraction when life starts pressing. What you reach for says more about your wounds than your words ever will. Truth 23. Justice won't save you. Truth will. Life isn't fair. It never was. Expecting fairness keeps you in resentment. Seeking truth frees you. Use this truth by shifting focus from what you deserve to what's actually happening, and from there, decide what to do with it. Truth 24. You are not your emotions. You are the one witnessing them. You are not broken for feeling rage, panic, shame. You are only lost when you believe those states define you. Use this truth by separating the storm from the sky. Emotions pass. Awareness stays. Truth 25. Letting go is not weakness, it's power. Holding on feels strong, but it's often fear in disguise. Fear of loss, fear of emptiness. But what's meant for you doesn't require force. Use this truth by unclenching one grip at a time. If it's draining you, it's not aligned. Truth 26. Trauma teaches you to abandon yourself. Healing is the process of returning. Every time you said yes when you meant no, every time you silenced your gut, you left yourself behind. Use this by noticing where in your life you still disappear to keep others comfortable. Truth 27. Success without alignment is failure in slow motion. You can get the money, the praise, the status, and still rot inside, because if it's not yours in soul, it won't satisfy. Use this truth by asking, is this goal even mine, or was I told I should want it? Truth 28. True power is quiet. It's not dominance. It's not control. It's presence. It's the ability to be still in chaos, to feel without reacting, to act without needing validation. Use this by practicing stillness before decisions. Listen longer, speak less, act from center, not fear. Truth 29. You can't think your way into healing. Insight is nothing without embodiment. You can know your patterns and still repeat them. Use this truth by shifting from analysis to experience. Walk, breathe, move. Speak your truth aloud. Healing lives in the body, not just the mind. Truth 30. The real test is not how you act when life is good, but who you become when it falls apart. Crisis doesn't destroy you, it reveals you. And if you're willing to meet yourself in the wreckage, you'll rise with something unbreakable. Use this truth by choosing presence in the storm, not escape. Knowing the truths is not enough. Seeing them, feeling them, even being cracked open by them, it still changes nothing if you don't act. That's where most people get stuck. They read, they understand, they nod, but they don't integrate. Integration isn't reading more, it's doing less, but with brutal honesty. These truths are not just ideas to admire, they are keys, and if you don't use them, you stay locked in the same patterns, just more aware of your cage. That's not healing, that's torture with insight. Start with this. Choose 3 truths that shook you the most. Not the ones you liked, the ones that made you uncomfortable. That's where the doorway is. Take each of those truths and spend one full day watching how it shows up in your life. Where do you betray it? Where do you avoid it? Where do you embody it? without realizing. This isn't about judgment. It's about contact. The more honestly you track yourself, the more power you get back. Next, write. But not to analyze. Write to witness. Pick one truth each morning. Set a timer. 10 minutes. Dump every reaction, story, memory, resistance that rises. Don't edit. Don't fix. Just expose. Most of your healing will come not from aha moments, but from consistent emotional digestion. The parts of you that were never allowed to speak, finally getting voice. Then, pause before reacting. Every time something triggers you, take a breath before you respond. In that breath, remember one of the truths. Maybe the one about emotions not being your identity, or the one about pain being the message. That breath is where transformation begins. It's not glamorous. No one will see it. But in that second, you're rewriting your entire nervous system. And finally, body. If it's not in the body, it's not integrated. Move with the truths. Literally, walk them out. Speak them aloud while grounding your feet. Put a hand on your chest when something lands. Notice your breath when the fear hits. You don't need to do this perfectly. You need to do it honestly, with sensation, with presence, with the kind of commitment that doesn't wait for the perfect mood. Truth without embodiment is just noise, but once it lives in your body, it becomes strength, quiet, unshakable, and the world won't be able to touch it. You've heard the 30 truths, you've felt them land, some gently, some like a punch to the chest. But now comes the most important part, what to do with them. Because knowing is nothing without doing. And doing doesn't have to be complicated. It has to be consistent. Most people think transformation comes from big breakthroughs, but real change comes from micro movements, small, intentional actions done with full presence. Here's how to start using these truths right now. Not next week, not after you heal. Today. First, pick one truth per day. Just one. Read it in the morning. Sit with it for 5 minutes in silence. Ask yourself, where does this live in my life? Where am I avoiding it? Where am I already living it without realizing? Let the question echo. You don't need an answer. You need contact. Second, give it language. That truth, say it out loud, in your own words, not as a mantra, as a declaration. Your nervous system believes what it hears repeatedly. Say it in the mirror. Say it in the car. Say it through clenched teeth if you have to. The more you voice it, the more it roots. Third, put it into the body. Truth isn't mental, it's somatic. When a truth hits you, move with it. Ground your feet, breathe into it. Place your hand on your chest or stomach and anchor it. Don't just think it, feel it. Use simple movements. Walk slowly, sit still, stretch, shake. Let the body know this is safe now. Fourth, track yourself daily. Use a note on your phone or a journal. At the end of the day, ask, did I betray this truth or embody it? Just write one line, that's it. No overthinking. This trains your awareness. Over time, this becomes a new identity, someone who doesn't run from truth but moves with it. Fifth, stop trying to do it alone. You don't heal in isolation. You grow through reflection. Share these truths. Talk about them. Ask others which ones hit them hardest. And if you feel alone right now, remember, that's a lie your mind tells when the soul is just quiet. You're not alone, not here. There's no perfect system, no correct method, no final version of you waiting to be unlocked. There's just honesty, repetition, and the choice to return every day to what's real. You've been given 30 keys. They only work if you use them. And the door they unlock is you. If you've made it this far, you're already different than who you were at the start. That means something inside you is done pretending, done hiding, done running. Now, it's about choosing truth when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable, when it costs you old identities. That's when it becomes power. If this spoke to you, subscribe to the channel. Let the algorithms bring these truths to the people who are ready, but don't know where to start. And join the Telegram. That's where we keep going, without masks. And if you recognized yourself in these words, leave a comment. Write, I no longer run from pain, if something shifted inside you. Write, my shadow is my strength, if you're ready to stop hiding. Write, I remove the masks, if it's time to live without performance. Write, I accept my shadow, if you're ready to stand fully in who you are. Let's see how many of us are done being breakable. This is just the beginning.